All right, here's what's up on a Monday edition of the program. Let's hear from some of the principals in the Buckeyes' win against the Illini on Saturday. I have not heard this. Bielema is a little chesty here. Is this chesty Bielema? All right, let's
just
go
a little bit.
Okay.
Saying he was asked what he'd like to have had back from that loss.
I actually wanted to go tempo the whole freaking game because they couldn't do shit with it, right? Like, we were doing a lot of really good things. So in retrospect, I think we could have done that a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker. Our quarterback's really good with it. But they got good players all over the place. Matt's obviously a very talented coordinator. They got really good personnel. But it seemed like when we went tempo that things really began to work our way. We just needed to go to it probably a little sooner, a little more often.
Because they couldn't do bleep with it. Is that the real truth?
When did they go tempo? When in the second half?
That first drive where they scored the touchdown.
In the second half?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's okay. That's why he wanted it. That's why he wanted 34-24. If I would have thought of this sooner, we could have won that game. That's what he was going for. Go ahead, Beck.
I wrote this down. It was after Ohio State went up 20-0. That next drive, I wrote down Illinois is going tempo, their best drive so far. And then they went down and they did kick the field goal. And I do think that's something we're going to need to watch here with teams moving forward. It does seem like if anybody has gotten any kind of success on this Ohio State defense, it has been when they kind of sped things up a little bit. And I think when you try to disguise things as much as Ohio State does, you don't have as much time to get your guys in position and do that.
Sure.
So I do think if there's one way you could attack this Ohio State defense, it is going tempo.
Well, all you'd have to do if you're Matt Patricia and Ryan Day is just randomly sub a guy in. And that slows it right down.
And have him walk off the field, a la Brett Bielema. Yeah.
Just bear crawl off the field. I mean, the idea that college football teams, that the rule is so stupid that college football teams have to burn timeouts offensively because of defensive players' unwillingness to go off the field in a timely manner, you might have the rule wrong. You might just have the rule wrong if that's what it's going to be. I don't even know how that rule came into place, where the defense has a chance to match it in real time. Why I got to sit here and wait so you see what I'm doing? Nah, you do it. Get your guy in there. That's on you. I'm so sick of seeing umpires, referees hold the ball on snapping as someone is crawling off the field from the opposing team. It's just bad ball. Get your personnel right. It's a bad rule. It's a very bad rule. This goes to what we were talking about in terms of coach's approach to this, which, again, really smart approach. He's trying to play 16 games. Here he was post-game with Paul and Jim on the control of the game that they never really lost.
Well, that's it. And, one of the things they do on offense is they try to split the work with the RPOs where, it was a challenge for our defensive line to make sure they were, we're never going 1-for-1. That was the big conversation going into the game. And I thought we did that, and then, I think on offense we ended up with the ball in plus territory. I feel like the entire game we were over there. And so when things are going like that, you feel like you're in control of the game, and it's sort of how it felt like for the majority of it.
Yeah, here is Coach Day on just did what was needed to win.
Well, the thing that was tricky was it's a good thing, but we were in plus territory a lot. It's hard to be explosive as you get into the plus 25 area because, as you know, the field gets pulled down, and then when we were a little bit towards midfield, they were playing in a little bit more coverage, and again that goes back to the unselfishness of our team and understanding what needs to get done. And there's a lot of plays that we're going to want back, but I thought there was a lot of good physical runs down there where we punched the ball in, and like you said, did what we had to do to win the game. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, they did what they had to do to win the game, and they covered, and it's on to the next. From a critical standpoint, the only thing that really bugs me, and I heard Brother Bone and Tyvus this morning worried about the special teams. I'm kind of with Tyvus on that. I'm not fretting that too much. I think the only thing that is something that's been there truly week in and week out is, and it's molehill stuff, but maybe it comes back at some point, is this is not a great deep red zone team right now. It feels like they don't know what to call in that 3 to 5 yard out. A lot of times it's CJ Like they try to do that, and he gets stood up. They get penetration. It's crazy because the offensive line's been elite really all season. They played great. But for whatever reason, in that tight red zone area, and look, the field's compressed, like we all get it, but they don't have something right now that they feel, to me, comfortable with in that deep red zone area, something that they can rely upon. That's kind of the only note that I have for the way that they're going about their business. And they know it too. I mean, I think they know it too.
I understand CJ as a bigger back, but Bo, we have talked about it quite a bit. Bo Jackson falls forward.
He does.
And I know he was a little banged up in this game, right? So he only gets 10 carries. But that guy never ends up going backwards on the tackle. Somehow he always wriggles free to fall forward a little bit. I think that's your red zone. I think it's really simple. The 3 tight ends and just plow.
Are you sure you can't just sneak it with Julian?
It could.
Feels like that's 3 yards
working
every time he does it. I mean, feels like the one time they snuck it with him, and I'm like, just do that 3 more times and just plow in. I mean, it feels like Julian can just follow the center for 2 yards every time. It seems like.
Yeah, that was another thing I noticed from Saturday. I'm like, if they're going to have that much success with kind of a tushy push play, you're going to see a lot more of it in those short yardage situations.
And you want to balance it because you don't want to put him in harm's way. Like, you don't need him getting smoked by somebody who's jumping on a pile. So, I get that. But at the same time, I think that's it. And he's right. I mean, they're in plus territory a lot of the time. I do think when you get into this, and I don't know if it'll definitely be in the Michigan game. Because whatever they look like against USC, they're not going to look like that when you play them in Ann Arbor. We know that. For whatever reason, when they see scarlet and gray, they become 10% better, sometimes 20% better. So, to me, you cannot abandon some sort of deep threat. And sometimes it can be just as simple as, Julian, throw it as far as you can, brother. Just throw it as far as you can. And just see if 4 can come up with one. Speaking of 4, I guess I don't know what a reception is. So he catches it. He gets 2 feet in bounds. He goes all the way to the ground without the football moving. Then as his momentum, in bounds, by the way, his entire body is in bounds. As his body is the momentum takes him out of bounds. At this point, out of play, the ball jostles loose and it's incomplete. If he caught it, all he needs is 1 foot in bounds. If he caught it, got 1 foot in bounds like toe tap, and then went out of bounds and quickly threw it to the official, would that be a catch?
Did he complete the process of the catch?
I think he completed the process in the catch. He caught it. He put 2 feet down, went to the ground, slid out of bounds with momentum, and it got jostled loose. To me, 2 feet in bounds, entire being in bounds, ball coming loose as we slide out of bounds because of momentum, that's a catch.
I also think the officials, they had many problems, but the boundaries of the field themselves were difficult because if you saw with your eyes, Illinois had the neon, like the highlighter, the orange highlighter look.
Yeah.
And a whole human was in the green part of the field, out of the field, catching a ball, and none of his whole gigantic body landed in the end zone, and they still called it a touchdown. Like, all of him was outside the boundary to play. And they said touchdown. That's 6 points.
Yeah. It was a struggle bus to watch. It was not fun. All the commercials, all the stoppages, all the reviews, they've got to tighten that up. That was not fun to watch from a television perspective. It probably felt like eternity when you were in the building. It's probably felt like an eternity for Penn State fans since they've beaten a good team. Well, now they're losing to bad teams, and apparently, despite a $50 million buyout, that was the tipping point. How did this happen? This guy's going to know. Our good buddy Rich Scarcello with the Reading Eagle going to join us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.